I have written a lot of Terraform for Azure. AKS clusters, Key Vault integrations, Service Bus, PostgreSQL flexible server, GitHub Actions pipelines, full enterprise deployments. For most of my career, I wrote every resource block manually, looking up syntax, checking the Azure and provider docs, writing the same boilerplate over and over. Then I started using GitHub Copilot specifically for Terraform. And I want to give you an honest breakdown, not a sponsored review. What it gets right, what it gets wrong, and how I actually use it in production work. First, GitHub Copilot has a free tier, 2,000 code completions per month and 50 Copilot chat messages. For side projects, learning, or smaller teams, that is more than enough to get real value. I am using VS Code with the GitHub Copilot extension. If you have VS Code already, installing Copilot takes about 3 minutes. Sign in with your GitHub account and it is ready to use. The workflow I am going to show you works in two ways. Inline suggestions, where Copilot completes your code as you type, and Copilot chat, where you describe what you want and Copilot writes it for you. For Terraform specifically, Copilot chat is more useful than inline suggestions. I will show you why. Here is exactly how I use it. I open Copilot chat in VS Code with Ctrl-Shift-I. Then I type a prompt like this, and pause and copy this if you want to use it. Write a Terraform resource block for an Azure AKS cluster with Azure CNI networking, managed identity enabled, and Key Vault CSI driver integration. Copilot generates the full resource block in seconds. The Azure Kubernetes cluster resource, the network profile with Azure CNI, the identity block with system-assigned managed identity, the Key Vault secrets provider add-on profile, all of it. This is boilerplate I have written dozens of times. Copilot handles it in under 10 seconds. What used to take me 15 to 20 minutes of typing and doc checking now takes under a minute. Let me tell you specifically what Copilot gets right for Terraform on Azure. Standard resource structures, it gets these consistently correct. The Azure Kubernetes cluster block, the Azure resource group, the Azure virtual network. Anything that follows a standard pattern Copilot handles accurately. Variable declarations and output blocks, it writes these fast and correctly. This alone saves significant time on every new module. Provider configuration, the Azure provider block with features, the required providers block with version constraints. Copilot generates these cleanly every time. Tags. If you establish a tagging pattern in your code, Copilot picks it up and applies it consistently across new resources. This is genuinely useful for cost allocation and governance. My honest estimate, Copilot saves me 30 to 40% of the time I spend on new Terraform modules. Not the thinking, the typing, and the syntax lookup. Now the honest part, what Copilot gets wrong. And this is important because accepting these suggestions blindly will cause real problems in production. Failure 1. Key Vault CSI driver configuration. Copilot generates a plausible-looking secret provider class configuration, but it consistently misses the correct structure for mounting Key Vault secrets as files in AKS pods. If you accept this suggestion without reviewing it, your pods will not get their secrets and you will spend hours debugging. Failure 2. Network security group rules. Copilot generates NSG rules that look correct but are often too permissive for a production environment. Never accept NSG configurations from Copilot without a thorough security review. Failure 3. API version drift. Azure updates its API versions frequently. Copilot sometimes generates deprecated argument names, things that existed in older versions of the Azure provider but have been renamed or restructured. Always verify against the current Azure provider documentation on the Terraform registry. The rule I follow, Copilot handles structure and boilerplate. I handle security, networking, and anything I haven't personally verified before. So here is the exact workflow I use in production Terraform work. Use Copilot for provider setup, variable blocks, output blocks, resource naming conventions, tags, and standard resource structures you have used before, and to understand. Do not use Copilot for security configurations, network security group rules, IAM and RBAC assignments, Key Vault policies, and anything you have not manually verified before in a real environment. Before running Terraform plan on any Copilot-generated code, read every line, not skim, read. Before running Terraform apply, test in dev or staging first. Never apply unreviewed AI-generated infrastructure code directly to production. With that discipline in place, Copilot is a genuine productivity tool for Terraform. Without it, you are deploying infrastructure you do not fully understand. GitHub Copilot free tier link is in the description. No referral code, it is genuinely free. If you want to see exactly how I structure a full Azure AKS Terraform module from scratch, including the parts Copilot cannot write for you, let me know in the comments and I will cover that in a future video. Next video, Cursor versus GitHub Copilot for DevOps engineers. A full, honest comparison of both tools and real workflows. You will not want to miss that one. Subscribe, Tuesday and Friday every week. This is the Shift Stack.